It's Friday, July 29th, 2022. My name is Terry Morgan. We are here to practice Wudang Qigong. This morning we have the advanced sets 10 through 18. We're actually going to work on 3 of those sets this morning. So, shaking the tail feathers, seeking the snake in the grass, stirring the grass to seek the snake, and coiling snake. We're going to pay a little bit more attention to this up and down idea. And as we did yesterday, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention today to the space between breaths. There's a little bit of space between the time that we breathe in and the time that we breathe out. There's a little bit of space between the time that we breathe out and the time that we breathe in again. We're not trying to extend it so much right now. We're trying to just notice it, that exists. We've paid a lot of attention to the breath. So what am I doing when I breathe in? As I extend the breath through the movement, what am I doing? As I breathe out, as I pull that in, what am I doing as I breathe out? Now we're going to pay that attention to that little bit of space between each of those. Between the time that I breathe in and the time that I breathe out, between the time that I breathe out and the time that I breathe in. Okay? So, let's get started. Yes. And I will say that some of what I've been doing this week, which has resulted in me being late, has been, difficult, some serious difficult. And some of it has been me trying to move things forward. So the delay this morning, I was working on, I mentioned the story that I've been working on. I was working on some edits that I started yesterday, and I was up early this morning and started working on that. And I got distracted by that, and so I was late. I apologize for that, for being late, not for working on the story. And I wanted to share that because the story is very much connected with the martial arts that I teach. So it's fun, it's intended to be a little bit serious, a little bit fun, a little bit martial arts lore, and a little bit just hanging out with the friends. So that's, anyway. Feet about shoulder width apart. Pull up through the crown of the head, shoulders down and relaxed. We're going to do a basic stretch first. Bend the knees, wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. Hands circle to the front, back around to both sides. Up along the center line. Stretch up, reach out. One more. Smile. Elbows drop down, wrists, fingertips, hands return to your sides. All right, shaking the tail feathers. This time, there's 2 things we're going to pay attention to here. First, as we sink more, right? Look for how much lower you can set. And your hip, if you notice, you notice what I just did with my hip. I hope you did. If your hip does not go back, you cannot go lower. Okay? At this point, I can't really go any lower. Now I can. Right? My legs aren't going to take me there. Just, I could. But that little bit of adjustment, this much. It's not way out, it's just a little bit. Gives you that range. If you can feel it. I'll put it that way. You can feel it. The other thing we're going to pay attention to is we're working the legs this morning, if that wasn't going to be clear already. All right. The other thing we're going to pay attention to is the space between the breaths. All right, so this breathe in, breathe out. Pay attention to the space in between. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Pull up through the crown of the head. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax and palms up. Breathe in. Press down. Breathe out. Sink, just a little bit, and hand circle, press down to the left, sink more, and come up, and sink, and come up, and down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Space between the breath right there. And breathe in. Right there, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Space. Breathe in. And the space. Breathe out. Space. And more space. Breathe in. Little space. Breathe out. Little space, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Open the back. Press down. Sink. Turn. And sink. Center. Open the back. Keep the hip well aligned. And come back to center. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. breathe out. Last time. Open the back. Use the legs, sink. Come on back up. Hold and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Center. Palms up. Press down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Alright. Relax for a second as we start stirring the grass to seek the snake. Pay attention to this idea of where your hip is, how far back or not your hip is, so that you can go lower. That flexibility in the hip and the placement of the hip gives us that ability. It's something that if you're 5 years old or less, you do it instinctively. You're not worried about it. If you're 3 years old, you don't even think about it. You just go up and down. It's not a problem. Okay? It's really not a problem. About the time we start getting to be 6, 7, maybe 8, 10 years old, that hip flexibility starts to leave us if we don't continue to use it. And most of the time we don't. We have chairs we sit on. We don't squat. Okay? We don't. It's not part of Western culture. It's part of Eastern culture. It's part of any number of cultures that there may not be a surface to sit on, and if your hip's flexible, it's much more comfortable than standing. You go up and down, it's not a problem. That flexibility is something that right now I have to work at. Okay, and part of this class is what I'm working on, so we're going to work on it. Stirring the grass to seek the snake. And just for the sake of, I'm going to show this, stirring the grass to seek the snake. And come on back up. The outer movements that we have in our Wudang Qigong are dynamic, and they are intended to require physical effort. There are some systems of Qigong that are not intended to require physical effort. They're just, you stand here and hold the ball. Right? This is a very good, this is a good practice. This is not, it's a good practice. This ball, right? We use that in Tai Chi. It's a good practice. It's not the only kind of Qigong practice. There are hundreds, thousands. The goal for our Qigong practice, open the body, relax the mind, use the internal workmanship, the internal breath, the internal energy, the spirit, the mind, combined with all of the physical effort, combined with the circulation through the acupuncture points and channels, particular for each of the exercises, and trying to integrate all of this with some kind of coherent, regular, daily practice. That combination, not always easy to find, not always easy to bring together. Right, so as we're moving, right, today, right, we talked about two things that we're working on. One is the space between the breaths, so that we're paying attention, using the mind to pay attention to that particular moment between breathing in and breathing out, between breathing out and breathing in. We're also working on the legs, so as we go up and down, paying attention to opening the Mingmen here, opening the lower back, supporting the torso, pull up, right? So pull up from underneath, open the legs so that you can sink more. Go down as low as you can. This is work the leg day, all right? Stirring the grass to seek the snake. Feet about shoulder width apart. Go a little bit wider is okay. Breathe in, palms up. Breathe out, press down. Breathe in. Turn. And 1, 2, 3. Open. And come on back up. And yes, that extending leg knee can bend. And turn. 1, 2, 3. Open. And come on back up. The more you open that knee, the more your hip has to work. And turn. 1, 2, 3. Breathe. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 2 more. Where is the space between the breaths? Here. And here. And again. Space. Last time. And stay along both sides, pull up through the crown of the head, raise the heels and lower, stay there, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Alright, so there's a couple things. We're going to do one more. We've got coiling snake that we're going to work on this morning. There's a couple things that I'm going to mention. One is that today we are very much working on the legs. Paying attention to that up and down, opening the hip, using the leg not independently of the body, but allowing the leg to work under you so that the pelvic floor pulls up, everything through the hips and the abs pulls in and up, so that the torso, all this up here, is well supported by itself, that it's not resting on top of your legs. Legs can then move much more freely. There's still leg strength that we have to develop. There's still a lot of balance and placement in this going up and down that we need to pay attention to and that we need to work on. Unless you're 3 years old and then it doesn't matter, you just go up and down, you're fine. Alright, I'm serious. Alright, that sense of placement and where you are. As we twist downward, right, or here, coiling snake, I'm going to twist downward. That sense of turning, and I'm here, and then I just turn around, right? Then I'm going to turn around, I'm going to look behind myself over here, right? That I'm not going to do this. Right? I don't have to do this in order to look behind myself. I don't. I could, but I don't. Alright? Don't lean. Pay attention to the large muscle in the back of the leg. Back here. Right? And pay attention to not so much here as here. Okay, so your leg's up here. Your leg is really up here. Trust me, it is. Alright? This part of the leg, this part of the muscle, okay, this is what you want to hold on to, so that as your hip goes down, you support your weight through your legs. Alright? This up and down motion, open the hip, pull up through, pull this in and up, open the hip. Let the hip turn, use that muscle in the back of the leg as we go up and down. Coiling snake. Feet about shoulder width apart, stand straight, pull up through the crown of the head. And breathe in, palms up. Breathe in, press down. Breathe in. Up on the left, both palms up, and twist. And come on back up. Don't lean. And up on the right. Twist. Don't lean. Pay attention to the leg muscle in the back of the leg, not the front. Keep the torso well supported. Turn. Standing leg needs to be well planted. On the heel, not the toe. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Space. And more space. Breathe in. And the space between. Support the body. Use the legs. Keep space between legs so that you can move. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Last time, breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And breathe in. Hands down along both sides, breathe out. Pull up through the crown of the head, raise the heels and lower. Stay there, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right, relax. There is a part of connecting the physical breath with the physical movement, extending that breath and extending it through the movement that we want to develop. It's not, we have a very active Qigong set. It's not a simple standing set that we're going to pay attention only to this group of things over here. We pay attention pretty much everything, not always in the same class. So there may be another time when my focus really is on paying attention to how we circulate the qi through particular channels. Small heavenly circle, large heavenly circle, we've worked on those. We paid attention to the foot and the palm channel, the heart channel. We paid attention to quite a few as we practice. We pay attention to the physical movements. Today's class, working the legs, opening the hip, developing strength in the back of the leg, not the front of the leg, not the knee, just the back of the leg and the abs. This holds up, the back of the leg supports the weight. That combination gives us greater facility in moving up and down, even if all we're doing is going to the chair and not going all the way to the floor. All right, we want more flexibility and we want more dexterity with all of the limbs, all of the joints, everything that's supposed to be working. We want it to work as best as possible. Okay, natural balance at the end of class. Now, the idea is that you should feel better. You should feel that I've done something and it feels good. That's the goal. All right, I will be back next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Bagua. We've been working on the foundations, second palm change. I introduced some of the third palm change. We're working on that next week. Lots of spinning and turning. This was part of the. This was preliminary for that. Okay. Thursday and Friday will be more Wudang Qigong, and I'll focus next week on what I focus on next week. I hope you'll join me. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.